Well, hello everybody, and thank you again for tuning into Act 3. We're happy you're here as always. You can see I'm delighted looking through my rose-colored glasses because this is the season of all things that are red and all things that are love, and that makes me happy. So happy Lunar New Year to many, many people, the year of the snake. Happy Valentine's, as that's coming and going as well. And you know, the most important thing about it is that sometimes when we wear our glasses, we take them off long enough to see what kind of fabulous things are happening around us. And on today's episode, we've got some great stuff for you. Holly Bright is with us from Crimson Coast. We have a poet laureate. We have some paddlers. We've got a couple of other things up our sleeve. So grab yourself a beverage, make yourself at home, and we'll see you in a minute.
I'm sitting on the edge of love and happiness. Yeah. Never experienced such a moment as this. So if you got that good feeling in your body and you want to bring this moment to life, come with me, we'll hit the town. Let's go right now and live the life.
Thanks for opening up the Lunar New Year edition of Act 3, Kathy. And thoughts of Valentine's Day make me absolutely think about dancing and the arts and poetry. We've invited our friend Holly Bright from Crimson Coast Dance Studio to join us today and to tell us about some projects that she has going on. Welcome, Holly.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
It's awesome to share the stage with a lady in red. Now, Crimson Coast is pretty well known in Nanaimo. Can you, maybe for some of our guests that aren't familiar with you, tell us a little bit about what you've been doing there?
Sure. We began presenting dance in 1996, actually, and we became a nonprofit charity to put a container around that in 1998. And I moved here. There was no place for contemporary dance, no place for me here in terms of what I do as an artist. And so I commuted to Vancouver, came back to Nanaimo, watched the sunset every night, and realized that we live on a Crimson Coast, and with some really beautiful adult students that I have been working with and teaching here, started a society that really works to bring professional dance here and engage with both local artists as well as the community.
So sort of creating a reactor or place for dance talent to grow and come up through the ranks, it sounds like.
Yeah, we like to think of ourselves as a bit of an instigator. Yeah, we create opportunities for there are professionals who live here or who move here or who wish to move here, and it's really important to be able to have opportunities to dance and share your work. And then, of course, we present work by people from across the country and internationally as well. Mm-hmm.
We were talking before the taping about an exciting, not new, but evolving project that you have some sort of newness to share with me. Do you want to talk about Body Talk with me?
Yeah, for sure. Body Talk project is really dear to my heart. I find that the teen years are so essential in terms of being a formative year in the life of a person. And there's a way that opportunities seem to be few and far between. And in some way, youth don't always see them anyway. I was noticing that there weren't a lot of teens in our programming, attending and participating. And so I started to reach out to my friends who had teens, and they kind of became this council of cool and told me what they needed, what they wanted. And so I was busy doing those things to keep them engaged. And then I thought, wait a minute, why don't you guys do this? And I'll show you how. So the program became a mentorship for youth to learn my job. So they learn curation, marketing, programming, and hosting. And the relationship between producing and hosting started to reveal itself as we started to notice that there were also not a lot of Indigenous voices of teens in this program. And we began to reach out to learn about that, and discovered along the way that there was a lot for us to learn. And we were gifted a number of ways of understanding what makes a safe space for youth and what makes a wholesome, fun place for youth, those who've experienced trauma, and really any teenager, because teenage years can be kind of tumultuous. So we've been working to make sure that the program offers this really welcoming place for youth to have a strong voice and to become the future leaders that they are, to explore that and experiment with it. What they've been up to is kind of defining what the program is. And one of the things that we're working on now is making sure that the program is guided by the community. So we have a resource circle in the community from the Indigenous community, as well as the youth who've participated in that community and they're or in our program, and they're helping us to identify what's missing and how to apply their recommendations for us to create this beautiful container for youth to grow and become young leaders.
Holly, what I think is really amazing is that this transmuted from being just a dance program to now a leadership and mentor program. So you're producing the producers and stage directors of the future. Is it true that if people don't start dancing in their childhood or teens, it's highly unlikely that they will?
Oh, no. I started really around the university level. I was really physically active and a gymnast, while the opportunity to actually get my basic training came at that point. There are many, Peggy Baker, who's a Governor General award-winning dance artist, also started in her 20s. So no, anyone can begin dancing at any time.
What's your favorite thing around working with Indigenous youth?
I think it's really what I get to learn as well. I learn about my colonial institutionalism, and I get to really challenge that. There's a way that we are working toward, as I said, a wholesome program, and to be honest, the things that we have been missing out in terms of institution is just the sense of humanity and a sense of care, and the time that it takes to care for others is a part of that. So I get to unlearn and learn at the same time. And we look to those facilitators who are producing or who are working with us each year to bring those teachings into the program. And this year we get to work with the beautiful Renee Morisseau, who is a Cree Saulteaux woman from Manitoba, Treaty 1 territories. And she will be coming in to work with the teens to develop a few scenes based on the idea of forum theater. So they get to create their own material this time and perform it at the end of the program. So as every year there's a week of workshops and then a culminating show. And that's what we'll be looking at this year.
Yeah, we're running tight for time, but I'd love to hear even just a touch more about that dramaturgical piece that you're doing with them. So it's actually a circle where the audience is involved in how the play goes, correct?
It is, yeah. The youth get to identify an obstacle or a challenge that they'd like to sort out and tease apart. They create a scene, they show the scene. Renee will talk to the audience about how they can help solve the problem of the scene, and then they get invited to participate when the youth do the scene again.
Holly, I appreciate you sharing this a lot. We're going to put Holly's information if you want to reach out to Crimson Coast Dance just on the screen underneath right now. I could probably talk with you for another hour easily, Holly, but we've got some other big movers and shakers in the arts in Nanaimo here too today. So I'm going to toss it over to you, Elspeth.
Thanks, Jeremy. I am here with Neil Serkin, Nanaimo's new Poet Laureate. Welcome, Neil.
Thanks so much for having me.
And thanks for joining us. We're really excited to have you. So, what is a Poet Laureate?
The way that I see the role of the Poet Laureate is to invite the community into an experience of poetry in the present moment. So it's place specific. We're thinking a lot about how this city could like engage with the complexities of our language. And also we're thinking about like our distinct histories and contexts as people living as neighbors here. So when I applied for this position, the word that I was really zoomed in on is harbor, because we're the harbor city.
I love it.
So when I bring those two pieces together, we have first the verb to harbor, which is when we like have a secret that we bring with us, but yet the harbor is a meeting place. So I'm interested in how we might bring our own stories into relationship with one another.
That's fantastic. I love that idea. And I love the idea that you have of really involving the community in your work. So often we think of poetry as something that's maybe a little bit isolated, something quiet, but you are making it a community event.
I have found that the people who are most intimidated by this idea of poetry are often the ones who have these stunning turns of phrase or just these ways of describing their day-to-day events that are just spectacularly poetic to me. So I see this as a chance to invite everyone into a consideration of the way that they speak, the inflections in their voices, the melodies with which they relate to each other.
That's absolutely beautiful. And it's very practical too. So often we talk about the community events at the end, but I don't want to miss them. So before we go any further, I just want you to bring out a couple of the very specific moments that you're starting as the new Poet Laureate for the community. Do you want to tell us about those two events?
Yeah, for sure. So the first one is an opportunity to just come and experience like a playful, lighthearted poetry workshop. And that's going to happen in the first Wednesday of each month going forward. That'll happen at the downtown library. So it's just a chance to reflect on the place of a poem in your own experiences. So a chance to also maybe write back to that poem. And then occasionally, about every 3 months thereafter, we'll invite a poet from outside of the city to come and read their work. And my goal is that in the workshop settings that precede them, we'll also read some of their work on the page. And that's one of the ways that I think we can demystify this idea of the poem being like an alienating experience that everyone isn't invited into. So they'll see it, we'll read it, we'll reflect on it, and then we'll hear it the following week.
I love it. So really getting people to engage and connect and create on their own. That's wonderful. So we'll talk about those events a little bit more, but just let's remember the first Wednesday of every month, you're going to have the read, write, and
the read, reflect, write workshop.
I knew I was going to get it wrong. Read, reflect, and write on the first Wednesday of every month. And then occasionally, and we've got one specific one that's coming up in March, you're going to have a poet.
Yeah, on March 12th, we're going to have Susan Alexander coming from Bowen Island. She's a spectacular poet. Yeah. Her first book, Nothing You Can Carry, just like blew me out of the water. I was totally amazed by it. So I can't wait for community members to experience a little bit of that book firsthand and then to hear Susan read from it as well as new work.
That is very exciting. And it's such an opportunity for all of us in Nanaimo to learn together and grow in our own poetry. I love the way that you put that. So poetry is more than just this moment for you. Poetry is a way of life. You've been passionate about poetry for a long time. What drew you to poetry? Have you always been a poet?
I don't think so. I believe that we all have that spot in our lives where if we get maybe a little push, the language starts to come onto the page. But for me, it was all music all through high school. And it wasn't really until university where I fell in love with just kind of being perplexed, I think, by poems, especially like modernist poems to begin with. Wow. And that goal is for me to like create a moment that like swoops into the present. And good poems will just demand that return from us over and over again, I think, to just kind of like revel at how complex and multitudinous our own lives are. So I fell in love with it around during my undergrad. And from then I've just kind of continued my obsession. So I love to read. I love finding new poets. I love engaging with new work on the page. And that's, I think, the real joy of it. I've always said that when I read my own work, like the great joy of the reading is actually hearing the other poets read who've come together. And so for me, it's always coming back to that community side, even though the work itself is very solitary and it's associative and imaginative.
I love that. So you've got the individual expression, but it's always with the connection with others, with other poets and with others who listen and share in the poetry. Yeah. That's really exciting. And of course, you bring that practice into your professional life as well, not just as a poet, but our listeners may be curious to know that you're also a professor of poetry and literature.
It's like one of the great joys of my life is seeing like the new generations of poets coming up through like the university system, moving on from workshops, beginning to publish their own work. It's like, those are the indelible moments for me that just remind me of the place of this art form. Even though, yeah, again, sometimes it can be a little bit intimidating at first, the poem is really for everyone, and it depends on everyone, not just as audience members, but as our neighbors, right? So in the classroom, in the workshop, around the city, there's a place for it in every part of our lives.
That's amazing. And it's exciting for us all to think about and contemplate. And you've tantalized us enough that we would love to hear, as we're closing off, maybe one of your poems, if you'd like to share. I know you've got a few published books, and you brought one with you. Would you like to share with us one of your poems?
I'd be honored to read a poem. This is from so there are kind of, to me, two kinds of books. One is like a book with a spine, typical collection of poetry, and then there are these little spineless books called chapbooks. So this one's actually a chapbook. It's almost like an EP if we think of it as a record. This poem is set in Nanaimo, and it actually features my son. So it's called Limits. I show my son how to brush an anemone so it sucks its tentacles back, a firework in reverse. Soon he's poked shut every polyp glued to the rock pool's rim like a bad therapist. We wait. Gradually, they reemerge, fig green and scar pink feelers, the way hope can't be helped, shy, then ravenous. One pool over, a girl his age flings whatever she can catch into the air. Crabs, a sculpin, dash upon the stones and quiver. I explain there are limits to what I can save, to what's proper. But he yells, stop. Thanks.
Wow, that was amazing, Neil, and it's so evocative. Thank you so much for sharing that, and thank you so much for the wonderful work you're going to be doing in the community. So for our listeners, the first workshop is going to be on March
the
5th.
Yeah.
I think lots of us are going to want to come. Thank you so much, Neil.
Thanks a lot, Elspeth. Appreciate it.
Over to you, Kathy.
Well, thank you so much, Elspeth. That was incredible to learn that we have a poet laureate. I had no idea. I hope you're enjoying the show so far. Listen, I just want to take a quick second here to do a shout out to my team and to a shout out to people that are guests on our program today, because recently the Nanaimo community held an event called the Women of Influence Awards. And I had the great privilege of being nominated this year, as did someone from my team. So I just want to give a big congratulations out to Teresa Osman. Come on out, my friend. You know, it means a lot when we're recognized, and I'm really so grateful that people sort of think to say, hey, you know, there's something that we're doing that makes some sense. I also want you to know that our guest, Holly, who is also here, come on out, Holly, was also nominated. So we have like we have a good team of some of the Win Award nominees. And while we didn't win, I don't know about you guys, but I certainly felt like I'd won. It was an incredible experience to be with so many terrific women. 136 women were nominated for 11 categories. You really might want to check it out. If you haven't seen it already, we invite you as part of our Act 3 family to tune in to the YouTube station and watch it, the Women of Influence Awards on the Rogers station, and there'll be a little thing on the bottom, one of our fabulous little coffee cup bumpers. Make sure you check it out and look at the women in our community. Check out some of the fabulous people that make this community such a great place to live in. And we are all three of us here, I can speak for you guys, we're totally honored that we had the opportunity to be nominated for this prestigious award. Thanks so much again. We're going to carry on with the show. There's lots more to come, and I'm not sure who's next, but who's next?
Me?
You. We're going to throw it to Teresa. She's not going to be wearing this headset. She's going to be interviewing on the Wellness Minute.
Oh, thank you, Kathy, so much for recognizing the Women of Influence. It was amazing being part of 136 fantastic women in our community. I now have the pleasure of speaking to two fantastic women who are part of the Angels-Abreast Dragon Boat team. Hi, Sue. Hi, Teresa. Thanks so much for being here with me today.
Hi, Teresa. very honored to be here.
Dragon boating. I see those dragon boaters out there sometimes when it's cold out and they seem to be working so hard. Tell us about dragon boating. How did you get into it? Sue, do you want to start and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I mean, dragon boating has been around for 2,000 years, but I've only been doing it for about a year and a half. I saw a little article in the newspaper and it sounded interesting. I called up and I said, do I need any experience? Oh no, come on down, come and meet us. And the team was just so welcoming and supportive. We're out on the beautiful waters by Newcastle Island. We see herons, we see seals. It's a beautiful way to exercise and hang out with a bunch of great people.
Sounds amazing. Teresa, how did you get started with Dragon Boat?
Well, I'm also one of the newbies, really. I've only been about 2 seasons so far. And I saw a pamphlet in my doctor's office. And I contacted the captain of the team and came down and met them, went to some practices, and got on board pretty quickly. It was a great group of gals, and I thought, yeah, this is something I would like to connect with.
Wonderful. And you are both breast cancer survivors, and the team is Dragons Abreast. No, it's Angels Abreast. Angels Abreast Dragon Boat team. So are there only breast cancer survivors allowed on the team?
No, it's mainly breast cancer survivors, but we do have some supporters on the team. There's a lot of Dragon Boat teams on Vancouver Island, but there's a percentage that are just breast cancer survivors. And it's just such a supportive community. But we absolutely welcome people who don't have experience and aren't breast cancer survivors.
That's wonderful.
And quite fortunately, we have a lot of availability. We're looking to fill our boat. And if there's anyone interested, we would love to hear from you.
And how would somebody go about it? Like you, Teresa, you saw it in your doctor's office. Sue, you saw it in a newspaper. I know you're going to be at the Wellness Expo coming up on March 22nd in Nanaimo at Beban Park. And so you're going to be there and people could come and meet some of the team and find out more about it at that time, right?
Absolutely. Or they could just look up Angels Abreast on the website and find out more information about who we are, how long we've been around, what it's like. We practice twice a week, and we have 2 to 4 races every year that we aim for. But it's about having fun, getting some exercise, getting out on the water.
That sounds fabulous. Yeah. And you're not out there when it's minus 10 like it's been a little bit lately here.
Our particular team, we paddle from April to October. Yeah. But there will be several of us at the booth throughout the day at the Wellness Expo, and we'd be delighted to chat with anybody about what it is to be dragon boating.
Yeah. And so what kind of equipment would people be expected to have if they do want to come and join you?
Well, when you first join, you can just show up and we will provide a life jacket, give you a paddle to borrow, and then if people want to join the team, then they'll want to gradually acquire their own equipment. But they don't have to. There's no requirement to have that.
So it gives them a chance to try it.
Absolutely.
Right.
It's basically a paddle, a life jacket, and it doesn't hurt to have the rubber cushion seat to sit on the hard benches in the boat.
Yeah. And Teresa, you're wearing the competition jersey.
Yes, this is this is the team jersey. With any luck and good fortune, we hope to maybe get some new jerseys this year. So we'll see how that goes.
That's what we wear when we're racing.
Our racing jerseys.
And this is what we wear to other events. I wouldn't paddle in this.
Right.
And the Dragon Boat Festival is coming up also in the summer, and you're going to be there representing breast cancer survivors?
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Yes,
wonderful.
The Angels Abreast has played an integral role every year in putting on this festival. So we'll definitely be there and we'll be hosting, and there's always a certain amount of breast cancer survivor teams involved as well, and we host a breast cancer survivor dinner the night before. And I think people in Nanaimo look forward to this festival every summer, so So look for us again this year.
Yeah, that's great. And there are dragon boat festivals and races and teams island-wide, right?
Island-wide and all over the world.
Wow.
We have some very keen paddlers on our team, and they might go off on their own, not with the whole team, to compete internationally or elsewhere in Canada. They're real keeners.
How many people are on the dragon boat team?
On the team or in the boat?
I should say in the boat. How many are in the boat?
In the boat, a full boat would be 20 paddlers,
Wow.
1 tiller, and 1 drummer. So 22 bodies, 20 paddlers.
And how fast can you go?
I don't know. That's a really good question. Well, I think we do 250 meter races. There's also 500 meter races, and I'm sure there's longer ones, but we do the short sprint ones. And I think we do it in like a minute or something like that.
And I think I've done some 350 races,
Show
but
off.
depends on the festivals.
And you're saying that you don't need to have any experience, but do you have to be strong? Do you have to kind of be physically fit to start off?
Well, you know, it helps, absolutely, but you don't have to. You build up your strength as you practice. Yeah, for sure. As they say, I think the saying is that what you found impossible in the beginning is just your warm-up when you get to the end of the season, because you're in such good shape.
And you just seem so welcoming and so fun that anybody could get involved and just feel like they could be part of the team and grow with it, as you said, right?
Absolutely. It's a great group of people, and developing some really great friendships. Yeah.
That's wonderful. So you're looking for paddlers. There's information at the bottom of the screen that people can they can call, or they can go on the website, and there's a host of information on there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And or come to the Wellness Expo.
Expo, yes, March 22nd at Beban in
We'll be there.
Nanaimo.
We'll be there.
And I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you so much, ladies. Best of luck with the recruitment, and best of luck with a wonderful season up ahead. It's not too far off now. We're close to April and much warmer
Yes.
weather.
Yeah. A little less snow would be good.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
All right, Kathy, time to wrap it up for today.
Well, thank you so much. You know, I've always wanted to do a little bit of paddling, a little dragon boat stuff. The stamina, I'm not sure I got it, but either way, I'm so glad that there are people that can do it, and they do a wonderful job. You know, we're at the end of the show already, and I just am so shocked because I'm still in my love goggles. I'm still thinking about all the good stuff that's happening in our community, and I hope that you enjoyed the show that we brought you for this day. We also want to remind you that, listen, if you missed any part of this show, or there's anything more that you want to know about it, check out our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share it. Everyone here is a volunteer. Nobody gets anything for this except for the goodness of our hearts and the warmth we feel when we bring something wonderful to you. So thanks again for tuning in. Don't forget to share. Tell your friends about Act 3, and hey, would you like to be a guest? Reach me. You'll find me at act3mediaproductions.com. Thanks so much. Have yourself a great day, everybody, and we're glad you tuned in. Bye for now.